How's it going, friends? Right now I'm in downtown Erie, Colorado, a historic town with a very rich mining history here in Colorado, about 30 minutes from downtown Denver. But it's not just a small town, it's one of the fastest growing suburbs in all of the Denver metro area. I would probably argue all of Colorado. I'm meeting up with Jen Bergman from the team. She lives here in Erie, so I feel like she should have some good information for you on that kind of cool old statue there. I'm excited to show you around Erie. It definitely has a lot going for it for a variety of reasons. All right, Erie, Colorado, virtual tour. There will not be a better video anywhere on the internet, and you know that. You know that. Okay, let's go. How's it going, y'all? My name is Jesse Lynch. I run the hardest working real estate team anywhere in the game. We are called Welcome to Denver. Go ahead and check out our website, welcometodenver.co, as in Colorado. But this YouTube channel is all about helping you find a place to call home here in the beautiful Denver, Colorado, greater area. And that's whether you're moving here from a different city, a different state, different country, different planet, or just buying a house here for the first time. First time home buyers, relocations, that's what we do, and that's what we do better than anybody else. So if either of those things appeal to you, do us both a favor, subscribe to this channel, click the bell to get notified, give the video a thumbs up, say what's up in the comments. We would appreciate that very, very much. And as always, if you're thinking about moving here, do whatever you can to get a hold of us. You can call or text the number on the screen. You can email us at info@welcometodenver.co, or you can check out our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there. Feel free to fill it out. Super easy, really slick way to get in touch with us. Or in the meantime, if it's a little too early for you to reach out, follow us on Instagram at welcometodenver.co. Right now, I'm at Erie ball fields, which are actually it's a really, really nice ballpark. I think there's 4 fields here. It's right across from this relatively new, very nice neighborhood. And this kind of thing is really a pretty big part of what's going on in Erie right now. Erie has seen 60% growth in the last 10 years, which is pretty staggering. And a lot of it is just making room for these new builds. Erie's super convenient. Erie's got a lot of stuff going for it. Like I said, Jen lives here. Right after this next clip, I'm gonna meet up with Jen. She's gonna kind of tell you about what it feels like to live here. And we're gonna do our best to just show you around, kind of give you the vibe. Right now I'm looking at the mountains. It's a beautiful spot. And yeah, a lot of these neighborhoods, super cool. Okay. Made it. Let's go.
Hey guys, we are here in Erie, Colorado. This is actually where I live, so of course I love it. We are walking right now on Coal Creek Path. We are in Collier's neighborhood at Serene Park. As you can see, there's a bunch of grass here. There's lots and lots and lots of these little parks throughout Erie and throughout all these neighborhoods. Collier's Hill neighborhood is named after being on a hill. You can see all of the Front Range from here. It's really beautiful. And the trail we are on turns into gravel eventually, and it connects all the way through Lafayette, Broomfield, Westminster, goes through Erie. So I love the trail connection here. So one thing I really love about being on this trail is if you go on a bike ride or run, it'd be a long walk, but you can go all the way there and back to Lafayette, to Louisville, You could loop around through Broomfield and you're staying on the same trail. With that, the location, you're not in downtown Denver and you're not in downtown Boulder, but if you want a little bit slower paced and more affordable option, you are within 20 minutes of being in Boulder. You're within 20 minutes of being to Denver. We border Lafayette and Broomfield. You're close to Westminster. So if relocation isn't, if you're not going to be working in Denver or in Boulder, or you can't decide between the two, Erie is an awesome in between.
Yeah, I drove up here from downtown Denver today as we were shooting this video, and it was pretty much right around half an hour drive, piece of cake, and I don't know, not a bad drive as far as just not dealing with too much traffic to get here, but I suppose that depends on the time of day. So we're about 30 minutes to downtown Denver, 30 minutes to the Denver airport, and give or take 25-ish minutes to Boulder, depending on what part of Boulder you're going to, and super, super convenient to those things while still having like this very, very chill, off the beaten path, kind of suburban, borderlining on like rural, but not really. There's tons of
10
houses.
10 years ago it was, for sure.
Yeah, so I guess there's like echoes of a rural existence, but
lots of county roads out here.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. And also, we'll get to this later, but cell service, a little bit spotty, but all of the infrastructure is going to be super, super new, super updated in all of these areas, because all the houses can't be any older than like 20 years old.
Yeah, unless you're in Old Town Erie, which by the name, they're the original houses here. So those are older. A lot of them are updated, really cute, charming. Otherwise, a lot of these neighborhoods are less than 10 years. A lot of them are less than 5 years old. A lot of them are in the making right now.
Yeah, true. He's literally right behind it.
Yep.
That's hasn't been finished. There's dirt lots back here. And yeah, some of the best views around seem to be
range,
in this neighborhood.
Long
for sure.
Peak and the Front Range and the Rockies, beautiful.
For sure. Surprisingly, for as new as it is, Erie has a population of 30,000 people, which has grown by 66% in the last decade, which I find that to be a rather staggering number. It means like 10 years ago, it was under 20,000 people or something like that. That's pretty nuts. But it's a pretty huge landmass, so 30,000 people doesn't exactly fill it up. There's still a ton of undeveloped space here, that, grasslands and just empty open spaces, which is something I can appreciate, but I also feel like that will eventually probably become a much more densely populated place as those places begin to fill up. And as far as schools go, schools are rated a B+ according to niche.com. You were saying that a bunch of people seem to be moving out here because the schools are good, so that B+ kind of surprised.
I was surprised, yeah. Some of the neighborhoods are really, really competitive just because all the schools through all grade levels have a very good reputation, at least. And keep in mind, if you live in Erie, there's lots of different options for schools. It's not like we just have one high school, one middle school, one elementary school. It's important to pay attention to where, for taxes and for schools, because in Erie, you can still be in Boulder County. So there's gonna be the Boulder County schools and then the St. Vrain school districts.
And it looks like the Boulder County schools are gonna be in that A- range. The St. Vrain schools are gonna be in like the B+ range. So you're not exactly like striking out if you're in St. Vrain, but if that's like of utmost importance to you, then just pay attention to like where those lines are drawn for a school district.
So one thing that's really cool about living here is if you are set on having those Boulder school or getting your kids into a Boulder school, you can do that while living in Erie with Erie prices. So imagine having the exact same house that you're looking at in Boulder, but it's in Erie and it's 25 years newer, but it's gonna be pretty much half the price in Erie than in Boulder.
I think median home price in Boulder is right around $1 million.
Right, or a little above $1 million.
Yeah, and median home price here is $650. So maybe not exactly half, but yeah, probably pretty close to half. And lifestyle is gonna be a little bit different, but if the schools are important, maybe this is the lifestyle you're after instead of being tighter into Boulder.
Now, not everybody that's moving to Erie is necessarily doing so for the schools. I don't have kids, so there's gonna be 3 levels really if you're looking to move to Erie, or 3 tiers. If you're looking for a condo, the awesome part of Erie is you can do that in the 300s, and they're really nice condos, 2 beds, 2 bath, 1 to 3 bedrooms. A lot of them will have pools, a lot of them will have gym, and great views. That's another huge perk of living in Erie, is a lot of Erie is going to have a nice view of some part of the Front Range. Yeah. And then there's some beautiful townhomes. Those are going to be in the 400s. And then to get into a house is going to be 500 and up.
For sure. Yeah. And you could definitely spend over $1 million, I would say, on some like really cool house here.
Oh, there's a little airport here where people have their private jets, and those houses are unreal.
Yeah, as one could imagine with a private jet.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right, cool. That's it for this. We're going to hop over here and do some pros and cons.
All right, guys, now we are in my neighborhood in Erie. It was built, I think 2007 they started building. So it's crazy to think that less than 15 years ago, none of this was here.
That's crazy.
A lot of them were just built 10 years ago too. And then brand new is the townhomes that they're adding. I think they are technically going to be a part of our neighborhood as well. They certainly are right on the border of the neighborhood. So last summer, it was all dirt, there was nothing, and now there's people living in those townhomes. They're really nice. Some of them have mountain views. If you don't have the mountain view, then you have a view of Coal Creek and the open space here. Erie does a really good job of keeping open space, keeping it open. They're not building on every single piece of land that you can see. Over here in front of us is a bunch of open space that Coal Creek quite literally goes through, and all of that is going to remain not built on. So those townhomes have a pretty awesome location. And also right across the street from those townhomes, they are now building what's called wee cottages. So I don't know exactly what they're gonna look like, but from what I understand, it's going to be luxury homes, but smaller, like a max of 1,000 square feet. So those are going to be really nice to watch be built up. They sound adorable. So we are back on Coal Creek, and this is actually how I found the home that I bought. I was following Coal Creek all the way from, I think I started in Lafayette, and I found a house that was right off of Coal Creek. And so I love trails, I love running, and I just love the access and how beautiful it is, and the open space. So that kind of leads us into my first pros and cons of living here is going to be the trail system. It's literally how I found my house. And then not only the trail system, but how beautiful it is, all of the views. You can find lots of trails in lots of places and bike paths, but to have all of the views to open space, Coal Creek's over here, Front Range is over there, it connects to so many things. So that really drew me in. And what really sealed the deal was I love the idea of getting into a town before it's built up. A good investment doesn't happen if you move somewhere that's really popular because everyone's already done it. Right now, we don't have Target and Walmart and even a grocery store down the street, but I do know that in the next year and a half, there's gonna be a Whole Foods less than a half a mile away. Anywhere that Whole Foods is going is probably gonna be a pretty good investment.
Which I think we can count as our first con. If you wanna be walking distance or super close to all of those like bigger sort of suburban conveniences, this isn't the spot quite yet. It's all a bit of a drive, but like you said, it's coming soon. And yeah, it's kind of obvious that it'll be here in no time, which I think actually leads to my next con, which is just that the infrastructure isn't all the way here yet. And I mean, it's mostly here. The infrastructure of these houses and these new builds obviously it's brand new and in excellent condition. Seems like the roads are all in really good shape. The bridges all seem relatively new, but I've had pretty rough cell reception this like the whole day. Well, maybe on and off the whole day. And there are certain areas, it seems like as you get to the edges of the development where it just like instantly drops off. It's kind of been driving me crazy. Not that big of a deal, but I guess something you consider when it comes to where you're building, or something to be aware of. If you're building on the edge of the development, okay, yeah, you might have to have like one of those boosters or something. But if you can deal with that, which again, I'm gonna say is a pretty small deal, you can get some really, really great schools. We talked about that earlier, but again, depending on where you are, you'll be in St. Vrain School District or Boulder Valley School District, which on the low end, you're getting a B+. If you want to get into Boulder School District or Boulder Valley School District, you get that like A-, pretty much across the board. Then you can get into that school district for a relatively affordable home price. Again, median home price around $650K.
So with that home price, you can probably factor in for an HOA fee. If you're obviously in Old Town Erie, you can do whatever you want. Those houses, that's why I love looking at houses there, because they're all unique, they're all different. But if you're in one of the newly developed areas, there is most likely going to be an HOA fee. I've seen them anywhere from $49 a month. They're not expensive here. I can't even tell you a max really, but they don't get crazy. 50 to 100 bucks a month. With that though, this is kind of a pro and a con depending on how you look at it. If you have an HOA, it means you're probably going to have a pool in your neighborhood, some sort of rec center. They're going to do some sort of maintenance, not your front lawn and backyard maintenance, but you know, along the sidewalk and the snow blowing in the winter. So it depends if that's something that you want. If you want a pool, you want a rec center, you want some maintenance, you like that there's certain rules so neighbors can't do crazy stuff, then that's a pro. But if you are one of those people that has no interest in those facilities, and you may want to do something crazy with your house, paint it pink or bright blue or something, then that's going to be a con, because a lot of these newer neighborhoods, most of them are going to have an HOA unless you go to Old Town Erie.
That's fair. And then moving on to the next con, which is really a different side of the same coin as a pro, is that you're a little bit removed. Well, you're fairly removed from the downtown areas. So if being super close to that is a priority, then Erie, it's probably not the move, probably not the call. If you want to be maybe in Boulder School District, but closer to Boulder downtown, you're going to want to be in Boulder. And likewise, if you want to be, you know, a short drive to downtown Denver, okay, again, Erie's probably not the move for you. That said, if you don't mind a half-hour drive, so if a smaller, quainter, more historic downtown with like fewer shops but a lot of character does the trick for you, cool. But if you want that sort of hustle and bustle, sort of cosmopolitan socialite vibe of like a downtown Denver, then you're not gonna get it here, and you're gonna have to drive a half hour to get it.
Yeah, you can't go clubbing in Erie. So if you do want to be very close to that, then that literally doesn't exist here, at least not yet. However, you can take an Uber. I mean, I'm young and not married and don't have kids, and I always know that I am just an Uber right away. If I do want to go do that, it is not impossible, especially with the lower cost of living here.
I think if I was coming here as a young single guy trying to mix and meet people,
maybe not Erie.
Yeah.
I'd pick Denver if I was you, but
you're gonna spend a lot of money on Ubers.
Yeah. So it just depends what type of social scene you're looking for.
For sure. All right, cool. That's it for pros and cons. Let's go over here. All right, y'all, right here, this is Thomas Reservoir, basically a man-made lake that is sort of surrounded by neighborhood, beautiful walking path up here. And you can't really tell because I'm down by the water, but just up there behind me, right? So if you're standing just up there behind me, beautiful mountain views. And yeah, just some of these houses have just really, really great spot with the reservoir and the views. And if I could sum up Erie in 3 bullet points. The first thing that I would say is that growing extremely fast, right? And so on the one hand, you have very new infrastructure for the most part. Most of the houses are going to be, built within the last 10 years. But on the other hand, the sort of commercial suburban amenities have not caught up at all to the houses. It lacks quite a bit, I would say, in the commercial amenity department. But it's not that you can't drive out of Erie and find yourself, all of that stuff. It's just gonna be a little bit further out, which, I don't know, might be a bummer for some people. Check out those mountain views. Okay, second bullet point, super affordable, relatively affordable new build houses. If like a new build is something that you're really looking for and you don't have a crazy budget, I would say that Erie is a very good option for you if that is one of your main priorities. Third bullet point, super convenient to downtown Denver or downtown Boulder. Jen says, that's a huge point of why she likes living here. She's maybe a half an hour to both, so that's pretty cool. But that said, it's not exactly right in between the two, but it is equal distance to the two, if that makes sense. If you want to be right in between the two, we're talking more Superior than we are the likes of Erie. Okay, if that makes sense. And if you've been watching these videos, you know that we have a section called the For Fans Of section, which is to say, if you like what you see here, if you like the vibes of Erie, then maybe check out these other neighborhoods, or maybe here are some other places to consider if maybe Erie isn't exactly doing the trick for you, if that makes sense. Okay, first off, I'm gonna say Broomfield. And not because it's gonna have exactly the same vibes, but because geographically it's close. Maybe you looked on a map, maybe you're gonna work somewhere nearby, maybe one of you is gonna work in Boulder, one in Denver, something like that, and you wanna be somewhere kind of central. So that led you to this video, but you want a more complete suburb. Okay, cool. Then I would say definitely check out Broomfield. We have a video on that, a much more sort of complete suburb, but if you want a new build, it's gonna be quite a bit more expensive. So that's something to consider as well. Second, I'm gonna say Superior. Superior is about as right in the middle of Boulder and Denver as it gets, and it's gonna be similar as far as vibe, as far as a lot of new build stuff going on in Superior, but I would say a bit more complete, for probably because it's, a little bit closer to Boulder, a little bit closer to Denver, if that makes sense. And then next I'm gonna say Centennial. And Centennial is very different as far as being complete. Centennial is massive. We have a video on it. Centennial has all of the amenities, and it is a gigantic landmass, 110,000 people, totally chock full of suburban amenities. But if it's sort of a younger city, right, a more new buildy kind of city vibe you're going for, and relatively affordable, Centennial is definitely worth checking out. Again, we have a video on that will be out before this one. Okay, and then last but not least, I would say Parker. Parker is gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna feel a little more established than Erie, a little less suburban, I guess, than Centennial. And it's gonna have some of those affordable properties that you're gonna find in Erie. Similar maybe distance from downtown Denver, but considerably further from Boulder. Maybe you want to be closer to Denver and Colorado Springs. Okay, Parker, Centennial, those are going to be pretty decent options for you. But no matter what you're thinking, I think that you should get a hold of us however you can if you're considering making the move here to beautiful, beautiful Denver, Colorado. Do whatever you can. Call or text the number on the screen. Email us at info@welcometodenver.co. Check out our website, welcometodenver.co. We have a contact form there, again, and super easy to fill out. Just say, hey, we ask a couple questions, and then it leads right to us, and we kind of get you started. And as always, we appreciate you watching these videos. As you exit the video, do so safely, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell to get notified every time we put out a new video. Give this video a thumbs up. These take a very long time to make, and yeah, we just appreciate the thumbs up, and I'd love a comment. I'd love to hear what neighborhoods you want to see a video on, or even just things that you wish we were covering in these videos. It's all helpful, and yeah, we're happy to do it. All right, y'all, this has been Erie, Colorado. I hope you've enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.